The other point is, I was pleased to hear from Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad that the US has also realized that they just cannot pack their bags and leave like they left earlier on, that they've got to have a plan of withdrawal, and that plan should be supportive of peace and reconciliation. So even when they are drawing down, they do have a role to play in the region and in Afghanistan. International community, as I said earlier on, is important. Their continued support will be required. And lastly, we all collectively have to be wary of the spoilers. The Secretary General mentioned there are spoilers inside and there are spoilers outside. So collectively, we have to defeat their design and attain peace. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary General.
Three very brief messages. First, to express my deep gratitude and appreciation to the generosity and hospitality of Pakistan, having received for 40 years millions of Afghan refugees. In a world where so many borders are closed, in a world where so many refugees are rejected or stigmatized, Pakistan has not only opened its borders, but the Pakistanis have opened the doors of their houses and have opened their hearts to support Afghan refugees. Pakistan has provided the world with a global public good supporting Afghan refugees, and it's time for the international community to assume its responsibilities and to support Pakistan very meaningfully in this generous hospitality towards Afghan refugees and support Afghan refugees in their obviously difficult situation. Second message, paying tribute to the resilience and the courage of Afghan refugees, Afghan displaced, Afghans living in very dramatic conditions in their own country, and to say that it's time for Afghans to have a chance for peace, it's time for Afghans to have a chance for development of their own country. And the second message is that there is an opportunity for peace we cannot miss. We have not the right to miss this opportunity. No Afghan will forgive us if this opportunity is not seized. It is absolutely essential that all Afghan leaders and all members of the international community do everything possible to make peace become a reality. I'm very encouraged by the strong commitment of Pakistan to peace in Afghanistan. And it's also very important that the whole of the international community, once peace is achieved, decides to invest massively in Afghanistan to allow for the country to be able to develop itself and to create the conditions of prosperity that are needed for Afghans to return and face a new and prosperous life, and for peace in the region to be consolidated forever. I want to once again express my great gratitude for the wonderful hospitality I'm enjoying here in Pakistan, and for the excellent opportunities that were given to me to participate in so many events in which Pakistan is contributing so positively, not only for the support to Afghan refugees, but for peace and for international cooperation and support of the UN in this very important moment we are living together.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. High Commissioner for Refugees.
I really don't want to repeat what has already been said, which says it all, other than one, of course, thank very much the government of Pakistan for organizing this conference. I think it is important to sometimes take a little step back, reflect on a long time situation, and try to catalyze interest and support. One, because of course, as both the Foreign Minister and the Secretary General have said, we have an opportunity here. We must hope that we have an opportunity here. I said it earlier in the panel, you know, Afghans are among the most disappointed people in the world. We can't disappoint them again. It would be really a betrayal this time. But I think that all that we heard about commitments to peace commitment to cooperation between Afghanistan and Pakistan and in the region provides a very good framework for solutions. Just an additional practical element. In December, we organized a global refugee forum. Actually, Pakistan was one of the 5 convening countries together with UNHCR, and not by chance. It's because of its very important role in hosting Afghan refugees for 4 decades. At that conference, where Prime Minister Imran Khan was present, we launched a platform to rally more support for solutions for Afghan refugees. And I really would like to use this opportunity to send a message to donors in particular to provide support through that platform. We've had now for 8 years a solution strategy for Afghan refugees. As the foreign minister said, we are struggling to mobilize the resources necessary. Now it would be really contributing to failure if those resources were not mobilized. So the resources should be first and foremost to create conditions in Afghanistan for people to return, the roadmap that the foreign minister is talking about. But of course, we also need resources to continue to support Pakistan and Iran, by the way, in hosting still so many Afghan refugees. So a strong appeal to mobilize resources around this platform. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. High Commissioner. Thank you to everyone. We'll start taking questions. I'll ask you, please identify yourself, your organization, and try to stick to the topic. I may have to pass it to the next person if it's an irrelevant question. Can we get the mic there, please?
Thank you. This is Mateen Haider representing GTV Network. Question is to Secretary General UN. Repatriation of Afghan refugees back to Afghanistan is linked with the peace and stability in Afghanistan. And our foreign minister has rightly talked about a roadmap. So question is, who will push forward the peace and reconciliation process? What role United Nations can play, although Ambassador Zalmay Khalilzad held many rounds of talks with Afghan Taliban, but we don't see any progress in the peace and reconciliation process. So peace is deeply linked with the repatriation of Afghan refugees. And if peace is not there, definitely it's not possible to send refugees back. And connected to this, Pakistan faces brunt of terrorism from across the border. So there are safe havens of the terrorists operating very easily on Afghan territory. What message, Excellency, you will give to Afghan leadership on this? Thank you.
Well, first of all, as I mentioned in my intervention, the UN is ready to participate in any of the peace talks that will take place, and namely in the Afghan-led and Afghan-owned process of reconciliation. And those peace talks, of course, will need the assistance of different organizations. The UN is totally at the disposal of the Afghans and totally at the disposal of the other actors in order to participate in the peace process and to help to consolidate it. On the other hand, it is clear that peace among the key Afghan actors is an absolute must in order to fight terrorism effectively. Because it is in a context of conflict that terrorism can spread and terrorism can prevail. And so we believe that if peace is established, if all key actors of Afghanistan come together, then it will be possible to isolate terrorist groups, and it will be possible to have a meaningful international support in order to neutralize any terrorist activities in Afghanistan. And the UN Office of Counterterrorism is entirely at the disposal of Afghanistan to support that process.
I'll just add just a line or two. You know, you asked about what role the Secretary General has pointed out that their role